Chers auditeurs,
Dear listeners,
bonjour.
welcome to comdarchipodcast Season 7.
Saison 7, dans le monde fascinant des architectes.
And in the architectural projects.
Je suis Anne-Charlotte Depondt, passionnée d'architecture et docteur des universités en histoire de l'archi.
I am one of the spokespersons of Anne-Charlotte, who is a PhD in architecture history.
Merci
Thank you
d'être avec moi aujourd'hui.
to be with us today.
Et
And
maintenant,
now,
lundi en français, place au talent.
and Wednesday, let's talk projects. In English, of course.
Bienvenue dans Comme d'Archi.
Hello everyone, hello Noé Basch.
Hello.
Thank you for being with us today. You are engineer. In 2 or 3 sentences, could you introduce us to your practice?
Exactly, I'm Noé Basch. Thank you for the invitation.
You're welcome.
I'm the co-founder of Mobius, réemploi de matériaux de construction. We specialize in the refurbishment of construction materials. We do consultancy. First, we diagnose all the buildings, which components are in these buildings, which components, which materials can we just refurbish in order to reintroduce them in those construction, and can we find other construction materials in other building that will be deconstructed in order to introduce them in the building in which we are conceived. Secondly, we have also a factory where we harvest materials like a gold mine. We harvest those materials, we refurbish them, we reinsurance them, and we resell it for other projects. And we do that in Paris, in the entire France for the consultancy, and also for our factory. And we just opened a factory in Brussels for the Benelux market.
Okay, bravo. Now, can you tell us about your projects?
Yep. As I just said, we are a consultant firm. We have projects of renovation of housings. So the thing is, okay, what can stay in those kind of buildings? So we just give advices to architects and engineers. Okay, can the doors, can the sanitary, can the lighting stay here? Can we refurbish them? And how can we introduce other materials in those housings? And also for offices buildings. For example, we are specialized in the refurbishment of the raised access floor for our factory, but also there are other companies that refurb the carpets, the sanitary also, the doors, the glazing walls, some components of facade which are recycled. And that's really our job, is how to maximize the refurbishment of construction materials in order to reduce waste, in order to reduce the material consumption, and also the energy consumption and the carbon emissions. Mm-hmm. That's what we do.
Okay. And reuse is so important. For you, why?
Why do we reuse? Because there is some problems with... We don't have infinite energy materials. And we are, day after day, producing waste. So there is the first thing, okay, if I don't want to produce waste, if I don't want to consume materials, energy, and to make carbon emissions, I can build in wood or in stone, but I can also reuse that materials, and that's the aim of what we do.
Okay. Do you have an example of a recent project?
Absolutely. For example, we are working on the ZAC Saint-Vincent-de-Paul in Paris. We are a consultant for the aménageur. So we give advice. Okay, what are the objectives of what are the goals of the refurbishment of construction materials for all teams that will refurbish some buildings and that will construct new buildings on that site. And we just say, okay, you have to refurbish so many percentages of the existing building, or you have to introduce so many tons of materials on the site which came from the deconstruction of other buildings in Paris or in the region Île-de-France. And we just talk about bricks, doors, windows, parquet, also. So many materials inside of the buildings, but also construction materials, as brick or concrete blocks, for example.
Okay. Do you know a lot of people like you all over the world?
All over the world, I will say. The thing is, when you're in poor countries, you don't even know that you are doing refurbishment of construction material because you have no choice to do that. And giving a word on that, it may be a sign of you are living in a rich country if you're saying that you're doing reuse or refurbishment of construction material. What we have in France, we have one of the highest regulation in terms of carbon in the construction. So I think that in France we are really good in the reuse of construction material. We say that Germany or Belgium has some advantages in that kind of field, but actually not so much. They were pioneer in the refurbishment in Occidental countries, but we are doing that. I think it's maybe only 2 or 3% of the construction in France which is concerned about the refurbishment of construction material, but there are some key players in France that I think have some advice to give to other countries in Europe.
A word for the end? Few words.
A few words. Don't forget what happened in the past. Don't forget that money is made out of energy and materials, and save energy and materials for a comfortable future.
Okay. Thank you very much, Noé Basch, for your testimony. Bye-bye, everyone, and see you next Wednesday for a new comdarchi in English. Take care of yourself. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you for listening. Don't forget to tune in to our previous content on Instagram at comdarchipodcast. If you like it, make sure to promote the podcast by giving it 5 stars on Apple Podcast and adding a comment, or on any of your favorite podcast platforms. And don't forget to subscribe and listen to all of our episodes for free. See you soon, and until then, take care of yourself.